Welcome back. I'm glad that you're here. If you watched my previous video on the Italian spring dinner party, you already saw how it all came together. And today I wanted to use my actual notes. After every event, I am writing things that worked out, tips that I want to remember for next time, and things that I would change. And honestly, after sharing this video with some of my friends and family, some of my best feedback came from my cousin, who has an incredible knowledge base of Italian and French cooking. So grab a drink, grab a coffee, a tea, a matcha. I'm having a matcha today. Start with a dessert because honestly, this strawberry tiramisu deserves its own conversation entirely. In the video, I had said I was gonna make it the day before, and it just didn't happen. I was so tired that night. Needs 8 hours minimum to set. Well, I started it in the morning, and it was just barely soft enough by the time I served it. And I think if it would have had more time to set, it would have been like what I expect normal tiramisu to feel like, but it was great and it still cut through without any problem. I just think that it had just barely made it to that point where the ladyfingers were softened. The next thing is that always check the quantity of mascarpone filling or any kind of filling in a dessert. Always check that the pan size that you're using or whatever baking dish that you're using is exactly what is expected for the size of dessert that you're putting together. Because I ran out of mascarpone filling. I don't bake a lot and I love to bake, but I just can't do that to myself on a regular basis because I will eat everything. But double check those portions because nothing is worse than going back and then having to remake filling or having someone run to the store. And luckily I ended up finding some more heavy cream for the top layer, which is what I really needed. And we just folded in heavy cream with the remainder of the mascarpone cream and it all worked out. But that's something I would have done. And then for the strawberry tiramisu, that's something very specific. We used dehydrated strawberries and it still has the seeds on it. And we powderized it. The seeds did not get powderized. I think I would have used a fine mesh sieve to just collect those larger portions of seeds that were left over. Just another step to make it look even more presentable, even more beautiful. That one step is going to take it from looking homemade to more elevated quality when you think of those little details in the serving aspect. Let's go over the cheese board because I have some notes and ways to make it feel even more authentic. First thing is your bread. In this case, we did use a baguette and we used a Coruscant loaf. These were both made locally and we really love the source that they're from. But if you did want to make it even more authentic, doing something like a focaccia or a ciabatta would have been more on track with a true Italian menu. And my tip for that would be, not everyone loves a crunchy toasted bread, so just be sure that you're leaving half of the amount of bread that you are preparing for this cheese board. Just leave it soft, and some people just really like the texture that way. It's super important to find a great bakery near you that you love, and that's just a tried and true. Something also that you can reference to and highlight and share during dinner. And ours is Proof Bread, absolutely incredible quality, and I trust that it's gonna come out like perfect every single time. And it is so craveable. Side note, one of my girlfriends brought me this Calabrian chili and orange like marmalade, and I had leftover gorgonzola, and let me tell you, the spice and the sweetness and floral notes from the orange paired so well with gorgonzola. I loved it. and I had to kind of like put it away in like the back of my fridge for a little bit because I was like digging into it on Sunday night. So we had 7 kids, and I want to talk about that because I think a lot of hosts overthink what they need to have for kids. And one of my girlfriends actually gave me a call beforehand, and she's like, hey, do you want me to bring like some mac and cheese for the kids, or is there going to be something there? And I'm like, well, I think that they're going to really like the menu, but I have some noodles and butter. So I just kind of put together a very simple buttered noodle side, and they were so happy. There was no noodles left by the end of the night, and all the kids just like devoured it. Just use a really great butter, leave some of the pasta water in the noodle in the pot, and then just melt the butter in there, and it creates almost like a beurre blanc, and minus the acidity. But then you just toss the noodles in there, and it's like creamy and silky and delicious, and honestly, like, anyone would have loved that. But the first thing that I said is be ready to adapt, and I don't think that that matters if there's kids or adults. Every host should be expecting something to happen and be ready to make changes, and try to not let it affect you when things go wrong, whether it's people not showing up or more people showing up than you thought. And you just want to always make sure people feel welcomed and not like you're stressed out. Make sure guests always have a drink or water that is in their reach. Have someone who's like a designated like drink refiller. Nico did a really great job of walking around and just making sure people had drinks, and there were times that I noticed you know, some people like finish their drink a lot faster, and we just have to get to it. And I think that that just shows like a next level of awareness. This one is huge because it goes back to what I was just saying about don't look stressed. Don't just like hide and tuck yourself away in the kitchen or in a corner talking to the only like a couple people. Really try to have conversations with everyone that you invited. Be present in those conversations, and don't just be in full work mode, because no one feels relaxed around the person who is doing that, especially if you're the one who's invited them into your home. I just think it's super important and like really just something to be mindful of. Always have good playlists on hand. We have a few that I'm just obsessed with. Mar Liebert, and like anything Spanish guitar is my favorite. We actually had a Spanish guitarist duo at our wedding, and it was so beautiful. And if you want like a little bit more of like a younger, youthful like vibe, but also Spanish, Maluma, just like Maluma Radio on Spotify is like a go-to, and it's so much fun. I also really love like funk playlists that are a mix of like what you would expect for like Nancy Meyers kind of elevated funk playing in the background, classics that everyone knows, and then also like newer DJ funk mixes. Those are my favorite, and they're so much fun to cook to, and it just like feels very like fun party vibe. The last thing that I wrote here for hosting tips is describe the menu, tell people what you made, where you got it from, share a story about a piece of servingware that was either like something that you love or that you collected from somewhere or just reminds you of a certain place or time, and tie in like a story aspect to your menu. Don't just like serve food and expect people to know what they're eating. Let them know like any kind of details that you have about it that you love and that you want to share with them. That's something that in my experience as a private chef in homes for like guests that are from out of town, especially if I'm using something local, I love to highlight that because they have no idea like where you got it from. To them, you could have gotten it from anywhere, but it's so much more special when you kind of share a piece of the culture and the community that you're living in. let's go over the chicken cutlets, which were one of the most talked about things of the night. The grown-ups loved it, the kids loved it. They make great leftovers. They are so versatile. You could put them in a sandwich with pesto, tomatoes, whatever. You could chop it up, have it on a salad. It's like so good and so nice to have on hand, and something that would make like a really good thing to prep ahead of time for the week if you know that you're gonna want like those types of chicken bites. After I slice the chicken lengthwise and flatten them out in between 2 pieces of parchment paper, I have a really cool tenderizer where I flatten it, and then I kind of just like use the smashing, like the poking side of it to really just like penetrate any kind of seasonings into it. I loved using that because if you don't, then you just have a different texture and the breadcrumbs just don't stick to it the same way. For the cooking of that, I just did a shallow fry in avocado oil. You can use any kind of neutral cooking oil. I wouldn't recommend doing something with like coconut oil unless you want like a coconut chicken. Totally different vibe, but use a high smoke point cooking oil. That's really good quality. After you shallow fry it, I put it on another tray with some paper towels, and I just like left it there while I put the next round of chicken in the pan. And while those started cooking, I took them off completely. I didn't even like flip it. I just like let it sit there. I took off the chicken that was resting in the paper towel and put it on a cooling rack. And by doing that, I like removed some of the oil, but then I also just let it completely finish crisping up and setting up on the cooling rack. And I just kept doing that, and it turned out so crispy. If you don't do it that way, and if you just like rest it on a paper towel for too long, the steam from the heat of the chicken will actually end up making your chicken soggy on one side, and nobody wants that, because then your breadcrumbs just like slide off when you're cutting it, and it's not pretty. No one wants to see like a bald chicken breast. It's gross. There was one more note that I wanted to add on how you could, oh my gosh, actually there's so many more notes. I have so many more notes, you guys. My cousin, he's amazing, and of course a big foodie and super like well-traveled. One of the things that he told me, and I did know this about Caesar salad not really being true Italian cuisine, part of the cuisine. The reason why it made it on my menu though is because the kids just love it. My son went back for like 3 plates of it, and there was none left over at the end of the night. So definitely just, it was inspired menu, not an authentic menu. Next time I would do caprese salad or a panzanella salad would have been really good. And like a chopped Italian salad, which is a little bit more like, I think, Americanized at this point, but there's a lot of other options that you could do. But we do love a Caesar salad, and we are close to the border, so I feel like we can let that one slide. I did wish that I took way more videos of us enjoying the night, and I feel like I really learned something too. My son Mason, he's been like hanging out with the adults a lot more lately. He's 11 years old, and he was just sitting there like hanging out with us, totally just like happy being there, instead of like running around with all the younger kids, which was really sweet. We were having a lot of fun with him there. But I think next time I'm going to put him to work if he is here, and just like designate him as someone that just records moments through the night, and I think that he would really do a good job. He actually sometimes helps me out a lot when I'm cooking and recording things, and he's all about it. That's my full debrief and recap of our Italian-inspired dinner party. I hope that these notes were useful for you and something that you could take when you're hosting next time at your own place. Let me know if you have been hosting at your home. I would love to hear how it went and things that you learned from it. Don't forget to subscribe here because we have a lot more desert dining coming your way. Until next time.